Happy Friday, Houston. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Kim Castro. I want to give you a heads up about a couple of strong to potentially severe storms that we'll be tracking for later on this afternoon into this evening. The weather team has decided to issue a weather impact alert. What does that mean for you? You need to be extra mindful of what you're going to be doing this afternoon and evening during this time frame. 3 o'clock in the afternoon all the way through midnight. That is when we have the threat of maybe one or two of these storms giving us some gusty wind, potentially some small hail, and we can't rule out the possibility of even an isolated spin up. Although the threat for a tornado is low, it's around 2%, there could still be one out of the many storms that has some rotation. So that's why we want to give you the heads up that you might want to take things inside or perhaps postpone some plans that you had penciled in, especially if there was any travel involved during that time frame, the afternoon all the way through late night tonight. Right now, radar is showing us pretty calm conditions. It's very cloudy, a little drizzly in some spots, and there are a few isolated showers that I'm tracking, although not very significant in terms of moisture or intensity. There's no lightning out there right now. I'm seeing a few light spotty showers in Montgomery, a couple of showers along 290 and points just south, so Industry, Belleville, Hempstead right now, Brenham, the surrounding area, seeing a couple of showers, but that's it. Very isolated in nature, nothing strong or severe at this point. Rain chances, however, are going to start to increase the later on in the day we go. We have a spike in the rain potential this afternoon, so think about 4 or 5 o'clock, and then you'll notice a much higher spike as we head into late night tonight, and especially during the overnight hours, and that's no coincidence. And that's when the actual front is going to push through the area, so that's when we'll start to see the activity kick up. Here's a look at future track. This is an idea of what to expect this afternoon, but we could see things shake out just a little bit differently, just depending on the timing of that exact front. So right now the models are suggesting by around lunchtime is when we'll start to see more of these stronger storms develop, mainly north of the I-10 corridor. So think about Conroe, Spring, the Woodlands, getting up to Huntsville. That's where the models are pinpointing the potential for a couple of these strong storms, and along Bryan College Station as well. As we go through the rest of the afternoon, very similar setup, mainly north of I-10. You'll notice now we've got a more organized cluster of storms, so the models are pinpointing around 5 to 6 when we could have that threat of the severe weather coming in. Then showers start to become a little bit more organized as the front pushes through. So we'll track some widespread rain from Livingston to Cleveland, Spring, all the way down to El Campo. That's at 11. The front passes through downtown during the overnight hours, and then showers are along the coastline by early Saturday. Behind the front is when we get all the good weather that we have been advertising. So the big drop in temperatures, the drop in humidity, all the good stuff. But we do have to get through what could be a disruptive day. The Storm Prediction Center has increased the potential for severe storms for northern cities and counties. So all of the areas that you see here in yellow are now under threat level 2. This is on the 1 to 5 scale. So this includes Brenham, this includes Bryan College Station, Grimes County, Huntsville, Montgomery, San Jacinto, so Cleveland area, into Polk. You'll notice Northern Liberty is also included in that yellow threat level 2. And then the areas that are highlighted in green, which is most of the rest of us, this includes downtown, the Loop, the Beltway, most of Harris County. Those are the areas that have a lower threat, but we could still see an isolated storm, so one perhaps. Think of maybe 2 or 3 in the yellow. There's a higher potential that the storms could be stronger the further north that you go. Live look outside. It is a very soupy, lots of cloud cover. There were some areas of fog this morning. Most of the cloud cover has lifted above the ground level, so visibility is okay. However, it's still very moisture saturated right now, and that's going to be the fuel that the front uses when it passes through here. 75 degrees right now for the 10 o'clock hour. That is extremely warm, even warmer than where we were yesterday, and yesterday was a record-breaking heat day. For context, our high temperature for this time of year should be at 63 degrees. So we are running very warm, well above average for this time of year. The breeze right now is out of the Gulf, so you know what that means. That is pumping in quite a bit of humidity. So along with the heat, it feels really sticky outside and muggy. Remember, It's pretty quiet for now. It's expected to stay pretty quiet for the next couple of hours, but we issue that weather impact alert. We're in red from 3 all the way through midnight, and that's when 1 or 2 of these storms could gain some intensity. So I really just want you to keep that time frame close to your brain just in case you had anything that you wanted to get to. It's a 50% chance for you to see some showers and storms in your neighborhood. The high temperature for today is going to continue to increase. So we're looking at a high of 80 degrees today. Yes, there has been an 80-degree stretch pretty much all week. But behind the front, some very significant changes. I'm talking about more than a 20-degree temperature drop between the high temperatures, and the morning lows are going to be even colder. But a high temperature of 58 degrees for your Saturday, a high temperature of 62 on your Sunday, and that is a very important day because it's the Chevron Houston Marathon. I'll break down that forecast here in a second. You could still encounter a couple of lingering showers into early Saturday, but for the most part, the rain wraps up on Saturday. What you are going to see continue, though, into the start of the weekend is the wind, though it's going to shift in direction. So right now, wind is out of the Gulf, and that means heat and humidity. Behind the front, we get a shift in the wind direction. So wind now is out of the north. This is a cold, dry breeze. So think about your Saturday being pretty blustery. We're going to have a significant temperature drop along with the wind. There is going to be a wind chill for your Saturday. So if you had anything penciled in outside, I think you're okay in terms of avoiding showers, just as long as you're prepared to brace some of that wind and the cold air that we are definitely not used to after what's been a really, really warm stretch. So just make sure to layer up as much as you can as you go out and enjoy your Saturday. How about your Sunday? Well, the good news is by Sunday, we really get the best of the best. I am talking about the coldest temperature drop. So now we're going to be in the 40s, starting the race at 44 degrees. The breeze scales back as well, so it's going to be a north wind at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Yes, there are portions of the marathon route that do travel north, so you will encounter a little bit of a headwind towards the middle of the marathon race. So just keep that in the back of your mind. It's not going to be the strong wind that you have to really muscle through. I think it'll be more of a refreshing breeze. At times, though, just know that the wind is not going to be working in your favor, so to speak. But otherwise, every other weather element really is working in your favor. Cold temperatures is just what we needed to run a good race. I know everybody's been really nervous with how warm it's been. We're only going to warm up into the 50s by the time the race is all said and done. In addition to that, we're going to have quite a bit of cloud cover for most of the race. So that shields us from the sun. Really lucking out with a lot of weather elements. This is my running weather checklist. Perfect weather. No heat, no humidity, no rain, and light wind. That is exactly what we're going to have on Sunday for the Houston Chevron Marathon. So we are very thrilled about that. One thing before we get there, though, like I said, don't forget, if you're just joining us on the live stream, we're under a weather impact alert for today. Starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, lasts until midnight for the potential of a few strong storms. We have a front that's passing through the area that cools us off this weekend. As it does that, it's going to encounter some pretty unstable air. So all the heat and the humidity that you've been feeling outside the last couple of days, that's what a front feasts on. So we could see an isolated storm with some gusty wind, with some small hail, and I can't rule out the possibility of even a brief tornado, but I will say that threat is low for today. What the front is going to do, take us from 80 degrees for a high temperature today down to 58 for a high temperature on Saturday. So just know as the storms roll through here, we are going to be reaping the benefits of the front pretty soon. So we talked about the weekend. Saturday, colder and breezy. Sunday, wind relaxes. It is a beautiful marathon day. You'll see some peaks of sunshine by the latter half of the afternoon. And then you'll notice that cold air continues into the start of the coming work week. Yes, we are going to be in the 40s Monday morning, Tuesday morning, all the way through Thursday morning. Those high temperatures, very normal for this time of year. A little on the cooler side Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, a couple degrees above what's average, but all in all, a much better, a much welcome shift to the weather pattern, all thanks to the incoming front. So right now, radar looks really quiet. I'm going to keep an eye on it. We're going to have this radar streaming up on KHOU.com. We'll have the radar streaming on our app, KHOU 11 Plus. So just make sure you download it and you can get any update any time of day just as long as you check.